Hey everybody, welcome back to Let Her Cook, brought to you by BSCN. I am Jackie Dutton, your hostess with the mostest and curator of the most spicy takes in crypto, as well as the curator of some spicy food. So this is not going to be spicy though. Today we are making a chicken gnocchi soup. If you have been following along, this is kind of like a nice cross between the chicken and wild rice soup that I made and then the lasagna soup. So it's going to be a little more tomato based and but still like creamy and very flavorful. We're going to have some veggies. I cut up these carrots, but I actually don't think I'm going to add them. In my mind, it like doesn't sound like it would be that good. So we're going to leave out the carrots, but we are going to get started with our chicken. We're just going to get a nice sear on the outside and then take it out, start on our veggies, and keep going from there. So to start off, I have taken some chicken breasts and I have pounded them out with like a big rolling pin and just kind of flatten these out just to level the surface area off a little bit. When you do this, typically you can get the chicken to cook a little faster and also a little more evenly if you make sure that, you know, usually the breast, just like boobs, right? There's like a fuller part than there is a slimmer part. So when you flatten out the chicken, you get a more even cook across them, especially if you're going to sear them. So we have seasoned these with garlic powder, salt, pepper, some red chili pepper flakes, and some Italian seasoning. And I've done that on both sides. And my pot is actually preheating because this is a Dutch oven, so it takes forever. And I'm going to add a little olive oil, and then we're going to throw these in and just start the searing process. So if you have been following along the crypto market, chances are you are not bored. The market has lately looked like an echocardiogram or something. It's just been all over the place and shot up to above 90K. I think it was like approaching 93 grand. And then yesterday there was this bizarre flash crash down to about 87, 88 grand for Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden back up and stabilized around 90. And today it's back up to around 92. It's just a game of wrecking the longs and shorts. I don't know how you stay solvent in a market. If you're trading a tight range, you are getting cooked, like worse than this chicken. Although this chicken's not going to get cooked bad, it's going to get cooked good. So I always advise, you know, set a stop loss, be careful. But with this kind of a market, I just hold, just stay out of it, right? This is like an argument at a bar. You don't want to walk up to people you don't know. They look like they're about to fight, and then you just get wrecked in the process. Don't do that. That's all this market is. It's a fight waiting to happen. Don't insert yourself. Speaking of fights waiting to happen, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you didn't get into an argument with your Uncle Tim who voted for Trump and you don't like that, because that's stupid. We're past that, right? It's been like at least 12 years of people being able to do that. It's not even worth it at this point. If you have family drama, I want to hear the good shit. I want to hear a good reason that you stop speaking to your family or someone in it, at least. I could tell you some of my family drama, but this is going to go on the internet and I can't. I can't. It would be entertaining though. I've got to tell you, it's definitely not as dumb as like, well, somebody voted for someone and like, you know, they don't live in a swing state, but like, this is how it turned out. No, it's not even like that. It is very entertaining though and hilarious. So we're going to sear these. I don't have enough space yet. You want to see? Woo. And we're just going to do a couple minutes on each side. And I've got this turned up to level 6 out of a 10 to give you a frame of reference here. I'm going to get a separate plate. we'll go from there. So aside from some hellacious market conditions, really just all over the place, it feels like springtime in Denver out there. Otherwise, let's see, on Monday, there were accusations that MicroStrategy was absolutely going to zero. But the newest story is that in the middle of MicroStrategy's stock, obviously being connected to Bitcoin's volatility because they have so much of it, MicroStrategy decided that their best idea of a Black Friday purchase, if you will, was to buy a nice new jet. So according to Protos, as Strategy stock price continues to slide, dividend offers increase in value. Let me cover this for a second. And executives make the media rounds to fight narratives of possible solvency issues. Online sleuths noticed that the company spent $27 million on a deposit, not buying it outright, but a deposit for a new corporate jet. It's not known what percentage of the total purchase the deposit is indicative of. And then it says Strategy previously purchased one corporate jet in 2007 and leased another in 2012. The jet was eventually repaired, put back into service for the company. While Strategy executives have relied on their Bombardier 700s for decades, if they do choose to stick with the brand, it's likely that the overall cost of this new jet, outside of the $26 million deposit, will run north of $50 or $75 million. You know, my fucking favorite rich people move is when a private plane became a business expense and a tax write-off. You have to love the tax code in America when someone can buy a private plane and write it off as a business expense. God bless America. Absolutely love that. Okay, we're going to open this up. And I'm going to flip the chicken. So nice color and coating here. We're going to flip this. And because I have a little more space, we're going to add the last piece. We're not going for a total, cook of these. We're just trying to sear the outside. And I'm going to add a little more olive oil to this pan. A little flip. If anybody's looking to give me a Christmas gift, I'm a size $1,000 in a Traeger grill. I saw this Instagram video of this girl that I follow. Her username is She Likes Milk. And she posted a video of a turkey that she made kind of before Thanksgiving, but as part of a video and a marketing video for Traeger, where she cooked a turkey. She spatchcocked it, so she took the spine out of it and then flipped it over and flattened it out. And she put it in the Traeger grill, and it had the most amazing smoke ring. A Traeger grill, if you've ever tried to smoke meat, it's really difficult, but with a Traeger, it's very easy because it has this digital thermometer, so it constantly keeps it at the correct temperature, which is kind of the art of smoking meat, is getting the temperature to stay consistent for that long. And I have never been more jealous of an outdoor cooking product in my life. So, yeah, if somebody likes to cook meat, especially if you like to be outside, if you like that flavor of smoked meat, I highly recommend that as a gift guide if you don't know what to get the person in your life who loves to cook. So that's not a recommendation for my husband. I can think of a lot of better ways that we could spend $1,000. But like if somebody's out there just looking to give away $1,000, I'm just saying, Traeger grill sounds nice. All right. So something else that's kind of fun, and we love to talk about Taylor Swift on this stream. And by love, I mean I don't. But usually we are only talking about Taylor Swift as it relates to the betting markets, but she has actually been surpassed thanks to a crypto and predictive market. Just a second. Hey, stop it. No. Nope. This is real life. Let's see if we can get the camera to follow me. So thanks to the crypto and predictive market platform named Kalshi, if you watch our shows on Mondays, we do a whole half hour of just kind of prediction markets and generally news, current events, things that could be affected and show up in prediction market platforms. And the co-founder, her name is Luana Lopez Lara. She is Brazilian, and she is a co-founder of Kalshi. And now she is considered the world's youngest self-made female billionaire. And with this title, she surpasses Taylor Swift completely. So I thought this was so cool. She's super cute in this Forbes article. It says Kalshi is now worth $11 billion, making both of its founders billionaires, and Luana Lopez Lara the world's youngest self-made woman billionaire. She graduated from MIT with a degree in computer science. She spent college summers working for Ray Dalio's Bridgewater Associates and Ken Griffin's Citadel. Those are nice connections to have. And then she built an $11 billion startup in just 6 years. Such a cool story. And obviously we are super proud in crypto and any other industry, especially tech, somewhere in the STEM field, to have a lady holding it down for us. All right, I'm going to flip this last breast over just to get a little bit of a better cook on this, but it's already kind of steamed the breast, so it's looking really nice. We were talking kind of before the stream about what the bigger platform is going to be. Is it really Polymarket or is it Kalshi? We've obviously used Kalshi for probably the last year in the US just because Polymarket got banned kind of around the time of the election. If you remember that story, it ended up being super sus. I think the FBI just like raided the New York City apartment of the Polymarket founder, and it looked like it was kind of connected to the fact that Trump had won, and they were trying to see if that had any outcome essentially on the election. There was this bizarre levels of accusations around the election, the Polymarket founder, the fact that the people who bet on Trump winning, actually won out. Trump won out, and it looked like there might have been some kind of collusion there some way, but it's just a prediction, and it's just as good as saying, I think Bitcoin's going to go up today, or I think it's going to go down. There are a lot of other factors at play about whether or not that happens. And obviously the Polymarket founder had nothing directly to do with that. But not everybody took it so well. So consequently, they raided his house unfairly and found nothing as far as I'm aware. But I think they did take his laptop, which was partly a huge issue. So thankfully, we're beyond that. And Polymarket itself is now available to use in the US. They have finally gotten all of the correct licenses and everything they needed with the CFTC. And I just think that the only reason that Kalshi in particular kind of had the jump on Polymarket when it came to the US users is really because they were probably in real time learning from Polymarket's mistakes. So they got to see how Polymarket was, being shut down. And then they just probably went directly to the source. If Citadel and these other people are your friends, obviously, you know the right connections. So We were laughing though because Kalshi gets hit with this class action lawsuit on sports betting. And then out comes the legal jargon and semantics, if you will, about how these platforms are different from sports betting apps. And I have a couple clips out right now. You can check the BSCN pages on what the real difference is. And basically, sports are determined by something called bookmakers, and predictive market platforms have liquidity provided by market makers. But the odds itself are not set by anything other than actual volume of people trading and betting yes or no. But it's ridiculous because it's basically the same thing. Like, what's happening with sports is basically the same thing, and it's really just a matter of like, oh, well, I use this word to define this, and it's like a fucking synonym of whatever it actually is. But they have found a distinction, and consequently, they feel that sports betting is actually gambling, and predictive market platforms are just the stock market for future events. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're going to add celery here. I'm also going to add some garlic powder. I have actual garlic, but I'm like kind of lazy today and I don't feel like chopping it. And like I said, I'm trying to keep these carrots out because I'm backing out. I don't think the carrots will actually play that well. Carrots are just kind of sweet, and I just don't think that they belong with tomatoes. You let me know in the chat if you think I'm wrong. I also have the screen pulled up so I can see the comments now. Okay. All right, we're going to add a little garlic. Have you guys seen that TikTok video of that white chick who got into it she was in a culture war, if you will, on the internet over the fact that these are dried spices, but if you use the real thing, you don't need to use dried spices, and therefore you're over seasoning your food. She's kind of an undefeated champion, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to turn this down. All right, so here comes the tomato portion of this recipe. So I'm going to take some tomato paste and I'm going to add whatever's left in here. If you had a can of tomato paste, you would just use the can. Trash now. And I'm just going to stir this up. And it's going to turn your veggies red. So this is going to deglaze the pan a little bit. If you guys also have any, if you're stuck on what to get somebody as a gift, let me know. Gift giving is one of my love languages. I really enjoy finding like the perfect gift for someone. It's one of my favorite things. I can make a couple recommendations. You have to let me know. I understand I'm probably a person that's like hard to buy for. Again, this bitch wanted $1,000 Traeger. But in terms of like small $50 gifts, I can help you. I promise. Okay, so we're gonna put the whole chicken breast back in, and now we're gonna add some broth. So far, currently, this is 4 cups. I think we're going to get to at least 6. I'm going to add a little more. All right, so that was 7 cups of broth. And then we're going to do it's 7 cups of water, and then we're going to turn it into broth. Because that's how we roll. It just occurred to me that I actually do have a bunch of chicken broth left over from Thanksgiving, but here's my attempt at measuring. It's not an attempt at all. And this recipe is going to have more vegetables than just onions and celery. I actually am going to add a bunch of spinach at the end. And you can never add enough spinach because when it starts to cook down, it's like nothing. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to leave the spoon there so it comes off. So we're going to bring this to a boil, and then I'm going to drop the heat and let it simmer for a little bit. And then I'm going to pull the chicken out, shred it, add everything back in, and then the gnocchi is going to go in kind of towards the very end. So we have like 2-3 ingredients left. I'm going to snack on a carrot. Everybody's very hungry today. I think it's because we've all been eating like we're going to the electric chair for basically the last week. Okay. Turn the heat up before I drop it back down. Okay, so let's go over to some other fun stories here. The 30 for 30 under 30 Forbes class came out, and one of my favorite posts was this guy who his name is Ed Elson. He is the co-host of a podcast, Prof G Pod. And he made the 30 under 30, and he said, "Congrats to the other winners. I'll see you in prison." I'm actually not even sure if he actually made the list or if he's just making fun of the fact that a lot of these people wind up going to jail. It's very bizarre. Okay, and oh, here it is. Okay, so one of the funniest stories I've seen today is that a crypto project named Zero Knowledge Proof, which sounds very legitimate. Okay, I think there are like ZK rollups, zero knowledge rollups. So Zero Knowledge Proof, it's actually a crypto company out of Samoa. They have supposedly secured a $22 million deal with FC Barcelona, which is a football club, a soccer team. Apparently, at the time of this announcement of the $22 million three-year global sponsorship deal, Zero Knowledge Proof, based in the Pacific island of Samoa as a crypto project, only had 33 followers on X. Typically, when you have a crypto project that is making massive partnerships like with teams like these, like Floki, for instance. Floki has, I don't know how many millions of followers at this point. And it's clear that they have enough funding to back this. They have, they know what they're doing. In other words, For an account to come out of nowhere, have only 33 followers, and secure a $22 million deal, meaning Zero Knowledge Proofs is paying the soccer team $22 million for the advertising. Where are they getting this money? Is anyone using this? What is Zero Knowledge Proof? Can somebody look this up? Let's see. Xavier Valiona, a former board member of the club, told Financial Times that striking a deal with the crypto startup was a sign of financial desperation, pointing to red flags in the company's background and calling the decision incredibly concerning. Apparently, one of the other associations of this crypto firm was also linked to Andrew Tate recently. There's no green flags here. None. It's all a red card. Should be thrown out of the game. This is crazy. And this guy who was interviewed says, it seems like a bad joke, but unfortunately, it's real. I just want to know where they got $22 million, if it's actually going to go through. It says that the football club is thought to be under severe financial pressure and is holding 469 million euros. So $542 million of debt. I guess Zero Knowledge Proof is regulated under Samoan law, and the firm is currently in the process of conducting its initial coin offering. Oh, there isn't even a coin yet. Oh, man. That's not good news, that there isn't even a coin. This is not going well already. Let's see. So FC Barcelona had to issue a public statement saying that they have no connection whatsoever with the company's token. The club has no responsibility, obviously not financial advice. So they don't have anything to do with the management of the token. It says, nor does it use the associated technology. Neither the existence nor the issuance of the token formed part of the sponsorship agreement previously signed with the club. Wow. Okay. If you paid $22 million and you are this company, and quite frankly, I have no idea how this even happened, but regardless, if you are Zero Knowledge Proof and you paid millions to have your name associated with the football club, and then the football club comes out and they're like, yeah, sorry, I don't know, desperate chick, she's just been using my name. We worked out this deal, but I don't hang out with her. We don't really have anything to do with each other. This is totally not something I want to be a part of. I would be like, give me a refund. You could always go find another Andrew Tate. I'm sure Nick Fuentes is looking for a fucking sponsorship at this point. So yeah, wow. We'll see. Hilarious. Let's check some other fun stats here. Let me grab the camera while we wait for this to come to a boil. Oh, I'm sure you've all been waiting for this. The Spotify Wrapped is finally out. So if you had December 3rd as your call sheet bet or your Polymarket bet, congratulations, you win the ability to see how dumb the rankings are on there. Let's see. TikTok has announced a $37.6 billion investment into Brazil data centers. Could this be connected to Polymarket or to Kalshi? Could this be connected to Kalshi in any way? What do you think? If Kalshi is kind of out of Brazil, or at least a Brazilian founder, I don't know. Maybe TikTok is going to integrate a predictive market platform with this move. That would be interesting. turn this heat up so we get... They say a watched pot never boils. I don't think that's actually true. And I'm going to post this in the Telegram so we can all share this. This is CoinMarketCap's tweet from 3 hours ago. They say, we're back, and they posted a list of the 24-hour top gainers. Surprisingly, topping this list at the very top is SWE. And SWE, their market cap is $6.5 billion. They are up 29% in the last 24 hours, followed by Pudgy Penguins. I believe this is the token, obviously. That's up 24%. Chainlink, not really surprising. Chainlink's a good project. And then Pepe, first on the leaderboard for the top meme coin situation. And let's see, if we go Pump Funds token, I wouldn't consider Pump Funds token a meme coin. I would say that that does have utility. But looking for any type of meme, Bonk up 12%. And I actually think this SPX 6900, I think that is a meme coin, actually. And Solana only climbing 11% only. And Bitcoin Cash, weirdly enough, and Bitcoin itself at the bottom of this list, up at least 6.9%. Are we back? Have we come back? I don't know. Bitcoin has rebounded, climbing to a 2-week high of 93,965, as traders look for signs that the crypto market has recovered after a prolonged sell-off. So there's a platform called Myriad. Myriad? I think it's Myriad. I'll send this link in the chat too. And these people on Myriad say that there's only a 9% chance of a crypto winter. And I think Myriad is a competitor to Polymarket and Kalshi, so it's a predicted market as well. But their current stance is that the majority of people believe that a crypto winter is not actually upon us. Users on Myriad, which is owned by Decrypt parent company Dutton, rate a 9% chance that markets are headed for crypto winter. That has dropped from 30% since the market debuted on Friday at the end of the week, in which Bitcoin hovered around $85,000 much of the time, not far off its 6-month lows. They reference Ethereum's price. Also, Ethereum has the Fusaka upgrade happening today. It says which will dramatically change how the mainnet collects and verifies data from layer 2 networks. ETH is off more than 20% over the last month. This goes on to say that for the purpose of the prediction market, 3 out of the following 4 criteria would need to be met to qualify as a crypto winter. Bitcoin drops to 35,000. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. Ethereum drops to 1,000. My God, I hope not. MicroStrategy or their stock falls to $50, or the crypto total market cap on TradingView would need to drop to $350 billion. More generally, a crypto winter describes an extended market downturn when prices drop, trading activity slows, and investor interest cools for months or even years. The most recent crypto winter we saw was from 2021 to 2023, and was worsened, obviously, by the collapse of Terra Luna, 3AC, FTX. It says, even if crypto winter isn't on the horizon, Bitcoin and Ethereum have incurred recent price weakness. And then they go on to talk about Japan's 2-year yield. So analysts told Decrypt that the U.S. central banks, so the Fed's interest rate decision, will be a huge determining factor in how Bitcoin ends the year. I agree, but we are all very hopeful that we will see a rate cut this month, and then hopefully that, it's just a nice little springboard into where we go from here. Okay, so we're going to keep boiling this chicken, and then I'm going to get out the gnocchi. All right, so I have a confession to make. No, I do not sing for the Foo Fighters. This is the cauliflower gnocchi from Wegmans. I use this instead of regular gnocchi just because I know for a fact that it is gluten-free and there's a little more fiber in it because there is cauliflower, and that's how it's made. This is delicious. This is just as good as any other gnocchi that I've ever had. So this is what we will be using today, again, with recipes that contain things like rice, pasta, quinoa, whatever carb you're looking for. They make noodles in all kinds of different shapes. Feel free to use the one that tickles your pickle. I am not married to this. You shouldn't be either. And you get to use whatever you want. You shop for the ingredients you want to shop for. Okay. This is the gnocchi that I am going to use. It's been in the freezer for a second. But it thaws really quickly. It cooks really quickly and starts to absorb a lot of the broth and the flavors. So this should go kind of quick once we're there. And I'm just going to stir this. I'm pretty sure the chicken's almost there. All right. So the SEC chair, Paul Atkins, says that the agency has, quote, enough authority to drive forward on crypto rules and plans to unveil an innovation exemption in a month or so. So I'm just taking a wild guess at this, and I haven't read anything about this, but an innovation exemption would obviously for this country be something that involves tax benefits or, more of some type of easy allowance of, business benefits in some way to operate within the US. So this innovation exemption is obviously if you were going to build something super cool, incorporate crypto in it. And then all of a sudden, if you were like a Coinbase or a Polymarket or even something like the mobile thing with Solana, with the phone, I can't remember what that thing is called off the top of my head right now. But anything like that, I think stands to benefit from something like this. So obviously within the next month, I guess we'll hear a lot more about this. That's pretty cool. I do know that, Trump gets a lot of shit for being the crypto president, and then the market has really not done very well. If anything, it's gone down a good bit, and that hasn't been great. But stuff like this is really more of what he was promising ultimately, was just making crypto and the crypto industry a place for innovation and to have it be nurtured and fostered in the US as a place of business. I don't know if he necessarily gives a shit what the chart looks like, but as far as allowing businesses and people to innovate, create jobs, and be at the forefront of this industry globally, this kind of thing had to be done, because what was happening with the last administration was not friendly and not welcoming to the industry. And there's no, that's not a political message in any way. It's just a fact. It is what it is. I don't give a shit who you voted for or who you liked. That's just the way it was. All right, this chicken is almost done. I will say it is pretty typical to have crypto news generally slow down during the holidays. I do feel like when crypto news has heated up around the time of the holidays, it's actually been bad news. I think the FTX thing kind of started happening like towards the end of the year. Things started to really unravel like towards the end of 2021. So I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily that we're just hearing more like tradfi things and a slow progression of news, despite the fact that the market conditions have been a little wonky over the last 2 or 3 days. I do think in this particular case of just like a lack of cacophony of all of the sounds of the news and you know things going haywire, I think it's a better sign that we are not heading into a crypto winter, that winter is not starting with a bunch of really bad events like the FTX 3AC, Celsius, all of that debacle. I am going to get this cutting board and we are going to start on our chicken. You can shred chicken however you like. Personally, I just prefer to use a fork, but you can use a KitchenAid stand mixer, which I do once in a while. But, you know, it's just like messing up another dish. Then I got to get the whole thing out. It's like heavy. And then I figure like while I have it out, I might as well make cookies. So we're gonna avoid that. I made the mistake of making fudge yesterday. I made vegan fudge. Don't be that impressed. Chocolate fudge is just 2 ingredients. It's a can of sweetened condensed milk and a bag of chocolate chips. But regardless, I made fudge and now it's just sitting in my fridge, like staring at me. It's even got Christmas sprinkles on it. Oh, are you the chicken police? Did you come over to make sure it's good? Thank you. I have my food inspector here. He's going to let me know if he likes. It's too hot for him to eat right now. He'll throw it up. And then after I'm done shredding this, I'm just going to chop this up a little bit because the pieces are still kind of long. I have my other food inspector come over as well. Hot. Let's see. If you guys are looking for a good Christmas gift or holiday, Hanukkah, whichever, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, just the holidays. I have a couple ideas for you. Let's see. I can just tell you about some of my favorite things. One of them is a Kindle Paperwhite. And I know there are all these people that are like, I like a physical book, though. I can tell you I read like 1,000 times more than I would with a physical book by using a Kindle Paperwhite, because the screen, it looks just like a book if you're in the sunlight. But if you are in bed and it is nighttime and you are trying not to wake up your spouse, if you sleep next to someone, there is a dark mode. The light is not that super harsh blue light from your phone, and it doesn't keep you awake. It's I fall asleep with my Kindle all the time. And the books, you can just instantly download them from the Amazon store, or you can connect to the Libby app. If you don't know what the Libby app is, it is free through your public library, and you just have to go get your library card or your number, and then you can digitally rent ebooks. You can also do audiobooks through Libby as well, but it is free. So if you are a voracious reader and you don't like spending money all the time on books, you can just sign up on Libby and rent whatever the book is that you want. If the books are super popular, you may have to wait. But otherwise, usually the library will have like multiple copies. But super worth it. I love my Kindle. If something happened to it, I would buy a new one immediately. Another thing I use now that the weather is super cold is this. I'm sure they make like another brand of this, but the brand I use is called Ember, and it is a heated like coffee mug, and it keeps your coffee or tea or whatever your hot beverage is hot. You can even set the temperature of it on an app using your like on your phone. So if you want it super hot or if you want it just to keep it lukewarm, that's amazing. Absolutely love that thing. If your wife or your lovely lady in your life does makeup, the BK Beauty brushes are absolutely worth the hype. That is absolutely worth it. I'm like, and even cleaning the brushes, they do really well after you clean them. It's not like you clean them and then all of a sudden they're just like not good anymore. Amazing makeup brushes. And you can get those on Amazon. And there is also a pan on Amazon. I don't have it right now. But I have bought this pan for like 3 or 4 people. It is the most nonstick pan I have ever used in my life. And I'm talking like you crack an egg on it and you could pick the pan up and shake it and the egg would come loose. And there's no oil, no nothing on this pan. It is incredible. It's not hex clad. It's this Amazon brand that was kind of designed to, I think, like rip off that Our Place brand. I had an Our Place pan and I just got rid of it because I didn't like it. It did stick. And I don't know if I screwed up the pan or what, but it did not perform the way that the Amazon pan did. I will drop the link in the comments. I will include the link everywhere because this freaking pan, I get so many text messages from the people that I bought it for or recommended it to, and they'll buy it and then they'll get it and they'll be like, all right, whatever, we'll see. Within like 3 weeks or the next time I see them, they're like, this pan is the most nonstick pan I've ever used. So absolutely worth it. Nothing worse than having your food stuck on the bottom of your pan, especially eggs. Like, I'm just trying to get as much protein in my life as I possibly can. Okay, we're going to stir this up and then we're going to add the rest. All right, I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit here and then we're going to add the cream. So I'm going to add coconut milk just for a dairy-free option, but feel free to add half and half or heavy cream here. Yeah, this is just coconut milk. I do think coconut cream would have been a better choice here, but it's fine. This is half a can of coconut milk. This is just going to add a nice creamy texture. And the star of the show, the gnocchi. I'm going to add the gnocchi and the spinach at the same time. Or one right after the other. I'm going to do this with my hands because there's a bunch of ice in the bottom. Don't want to water down my soup. So I would love to know what you guys would like to see in the month of December in terms of cooking recipes. If you would like more sweet treat content or if you want an actual meal. I know that some people just kind of copy paste their Thanksgiving meal for Christmas. I don't do that actually. We typically have Mexican food for Christmas, and I usually make tamales, which is an incredibly involved process. And it goes on for hours. But it's delicious, and it is the only time of year that I make them. So if you guys would like to see that, I'm happy to do that on stream. I usually make them and freeze them sometimes anyway. And then otherwise, I'm going to chop this first. But otherwise, we can do sweet treats. I love eggnog. We can even make eggnog. Whatever you're looking for here. And I'm basically just going to use this whole thing of spinach. Like I said, spinach cooks down to like nothing. And it's also really good for you. Turn this up. How often does this happen in your house? Be honest. How often do you use the whole thing? Or do you just throw it out and then you just buy a new one when there's like a third of the lettuce left, if you even used it at all? All right, so we're going to add all of this in and let her cook. We love a slogan. So the way that you're going to top this is with Parmesan cheese. And then if you had like a little cream, you could drizzle that over the top as well. Maybe a little parsley. Okay. And that is together. I'm just going to taste this broth real quick to make sure. Oh, wow. Yeah, very good. Also very glad I didn't add the carrots. I think that would have like ruined it for me. But yeah, very good. Add a little bit more Italian seasoning. You could never have enough garlic, so we're going to add a tiny bit more of this. But otherwise, looking good. So this is basically done. I'm just going to simmer this for maybe another 5 or 10 minutes and then take it off and have some lunch. So I hope you guys really liked this episode of this chicken gnocchi soup and our general awareness of the crypto market and topics of the day. If you enjoyed this stream, make sure you come back on Mondays at noon. We do a predictive market, call sheet, poly market, look through, and we just see what's trending and what kind of bets are potentially free money. Nothing's free, not financial advice. Nothing I say is ever financial advice. It's just my general opinion. So thank you guys for joining. Let her cook. We are live Mondays and Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern, right here on BSCN. Make sure you check back for all of the other clips and additional content. We've got a DeFi review of a DEX on SWE coming later this week. Look for that on Friday. And otherwise, I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.